It's easy to make plans that look perfect on paper, but this new year, we're making plans that feel electric, chaotic, and full of passion. If it gets us into trouble, then so be it. Sometimes, trouble is the best thing that can happen. The new year is a blank slate, but we're not here to fill it with just any plans. We're here to fill it with wild dreams, with risks that make our hearts race, and with experiences that might get us into a little bit of trouble, but that's exactly what we're craving. There's a beauty in chaos, in throwing ourselves into something we can't control. This new year, we're embracing the uncertainty, stepping into the wild unknown, and preparing to get into a little bit of trouble along the way. We're tired of playing it safe, tired of living in the shadows of what we could be. This new year, we're stepping out into the wild, taking risks, and diving headfirst into whatever trouble comes our way. Because if we're not living on the edge, are we even living? What if the biggest adventure of our lives isn't about avoiding trouble, but about chasing it? This year, we're ready to make plans that will challenge us, change us, and yes, probably get us in trouble, but it will all be worth it. The world tells us to be careful, but what if we stopped listening to the warnings and just went for it? This new year, we're making plans that are wild, unpredictable, and full of the kind of trouble that makes life feel alive. As the year changes, so do we. We're tired of holding back, tired of living in the comfort zone. This year, we're ready to take risks, to make plans that are reckless enough to get us into trouble, and that's exactly what makes them exciting. Sometimes, the best moments in life come when we're not thinking about consequences. This new year, we're ready to make plans that are wild, chaotic, and full of passion. Trouble. We're ready for it. We've spent too long trying to fit in, trying to play by the rules. This new year, we're throwing out the rule book and creating our own path. It might get us in trouble, but maybe that's where the magic happens. There's a kind of beauty in embracing the unknown, in diving headfirst into a wild New Year plan that could lead us anywhere. We don't know where it will take us, but we're ready for whatever trouble comes our way. If this year is going to be different, it's going to be because we're not afraid to take chances. We're not afraid to embrace the chaos, to make plans that are wild enough to get us into trouble, and to trust that it will all be worth it. This new year, we're not looking for safety or security. We're looking for adventure, for excitement, for moments that take our breath away. And if trouble finds us along the way, we'll welcome it with open arms. The best stories come from the times when things didn't go as planned. This new year, we're throwing out the rule book, making plans that are wild enough to get us in trouble, and trusting that it will lead to something unforgettable. Sometimes the greatest adventures are the ones that scare us the most. This year, we're ready to embrace the fear, to dive into the unknown, and to let the wild New Year plan lead us into trouble. After all, what's life without a little danger? We're tired of safe. This new year, we're all about living on the edge, making plans that might get us into trouble, but will definitely make us feel alive. Because if we're not taking risks, then what are we really doing? It's easy to get stuck in the mundane, to follow the same old routine. But this new year, we're breaking free. We're making plans that will push us to our limits, that will challenge us, that will get us in trouble, and we wouldn't have it any other way. The greatest thrill in life comes not from playing it safe, but from stepping into the wild unknown. This year, we're making plans that will get us into trouble, and we're ready to embrace every moment of it. This new year, we're ready to stop waiting for permission. We're ready to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to make plans that are so wild, so unpredictable, that they might just get us in trouble. And that's exactly what we want. We've spent too much time wondering what could go wrong. This year, we're focusing on what could go right. We're making plans that are wild, passionate, and full of the kind of trouble that makes life worth living. Somewhere between the comfort of the known and the chaos of the unknown lies a world of possibilities. This year, we're ready to jump in, to take risks, to make plans that might get us into trouble, and trust that it will all be worth it. There's a certain magic in the unknown, a certain allure in chaos. This new year, we're embracing the wild, making plans that will lead us into new territory. And yes, maybe even a little trouble. But isn't that where the real adventure starts? There's something intoxicating about the thought of starting fresh, yet we know deep down that every new beginning has the potential to lead us into unexpected chaos. But perhaps it's the chaos we need to feel alive. A wild New Year plan might just be the reckless adventure we've been waiting for. As the year turns, our hearts race with anticipation. We're ready to take risks, to push boundaries, to get lost in moments that will forever change us. But the more we think about it, the more we realize this plan is wild enough to get us into trouble, and that's exactly what we want. Sometimes we crave the thrill of the unknown. The new year calls us to step beyond what's safe, to throw caution to the wind, and to trust that the wild path we take will lead us to something extraordinary. We may regret it, but perhaps regret is the spice of a life well lived. We've all been stuck in a cycle, but now, with the promise of a fresh start, we can't help but crave more, more excitement, more passion, more moments that feel too dangerous to ignore. This wild plan we've dreamed up might just push us to the brink of something unforgettable. It's almost as if we were born to take risks, to leap without looking, to see where the madness of life can take us. This new year, let's throw our fears aside and see just how deep into trouble we can fall. After all, isn't that what makes a new beginning truly worth living? New Year's resolutions are often too safe, too predictable, but this year, there's something different in the air. A reckless desire for adventure, for thrills, for experiences that will leave us breathless. The trouble we'll get into is exactly what we need to find ourselves. We don't know what lies ahead, but that's the beauty of it. The risk, the excitement, the uncertainty, it's what makes life feel electric. So why not plan for the wildest new year we've ever had? If we get in trouble, so be it. At least we'll have stories to tell. What if the greatest joy in life comes not from playing it safe, but from embracing the chaos? This new year, we're throwing caution to the wind, not knowing what trouble lies ahead, but fully prepared to meet it head on. There's something magnetic about danger, something irresistible about the wild and uncharted paths. This year, we're not following the rules. We're creating our own. And if it gets us in trouble, then at least we'll know we've lived a life worth remembering. The world has always told us to be careful, to stay safe, to play by the rules. But what if the wildest plans, the ones that seem reckless and risky, are the ones that truly bring us to life? This year, we're ready to find out. It's easy to get stuck in routine, in the predictability of everyday life. But this new year, we've decided to shake things up, to dive into the chaos, to embrace the unpredictability, and to see what kind of trouble we can find. Maybe it's just what we need. There's a spark in the air, a sense that this year will be different. Not because we have a perfect plan, but because we're embracing the messiness, the unpredictability, the trouble that comes with following our hearts instead of our heads. If we wanted easy, we'd stick to the plan. But this new year, we want something more. We want adventure, the kind that takes us to the edge of trouble and makes us feel more alive than ever before. What's the point of starting fresh if we don't aim for something wild? This new year, we're not playing it safe. We're ready for the unpredictable, for the unexpected, for the trouble that might just turn into the best thing that's ever happened to us. We've always played it safe, but now, as the new year approaches, we're feeling a shift, a desire to throw caution to the wind and let the chaos of life take us on a wild ride. We don't know what will happen, but we're ready for whatever trouble comes our way. Life is too short to play it safe all the time. This new year, we're planning for a little trouble, a little excitement, and a whole lot of adventure. Because who wants to live a life where the greatest risk is staying comfortable? We often think we have control over our futures, but sometimes the best moments happen when we let go and let life take us to places we never expected. This year, we're choosing to let go and see where the wild path takes us. New beginnings are often just another excuse to do things differently. But this year, we're not just doing different, we're doing wild. We're pushing ourselves into the unknown, prepared for the chaos, and ready to embrace whatever trouble it brings. What if the wildest New Year plan we could have is the one that leads us straight into trouble? Maybe that's where we'll find our true selves, out of our comfort zone, deep in the chaos, and completely alive in the moment.